A couple of months ago, I did a comparison and a battle between two different 2-in-1 holders that are available these days. One of them being the Louis Creations Moblique and the other being the Yoke Pen Company Deuce. Quite a lot of things have changed since then. One of them being for the Deuce that it is now available in a left-handed version, which came out a couple weeks after I published my video. You can now order the left-handed versions at the Yoke Company website. The other is that I now stock the Deuce in my shop, so now it is also available in Europe as well. But we are not here to talk about the Deuce. We're actually here to talk about the Moblique. My main problem with the Moblique was the fact that the flange came out too easily, so that was the main issue that I had with it. The rest of it I really liked. I really like the fact that it's very elegant, it has great distribution, it is still available in lots of places. Louis has even added a couple, so it still has the little nib compartment. But Louis actually reached out to me after my initial review and told me that the second iteration of this pen would come out and that he would like to send me some. So, of course, I said yes. And he actually sent me a couple things. So, I got two of the new colors. So this is the lavender color, purple sand, silver storm, and golden sunshine. And Louis has actually also included some accessories. Now they also make mauve flanges in silver, brass, gold, and rose gold. The silver one doesn't come with the silver, so it usually comes with the brass flange as well. And then also the mauve ring, two of them. There's 3 designs, and the mauve rings are actually just a limited quantity that were made for Christmas, but you can still get some of them in certain shops. So these are still available. So these are little accessories that you can screw in between. And let's do a review. So this is the version 2 Moblique. So apparently the flange issue has been fixed. So let's see if that is true. I really like how easy these are to unpack. Most of the time these little packages are a pain to open, but I like that you can just slide out the holders and put it back in. So in case you want to store it, you can also store it in the packaging because it reopens. All right, so let's also open these up. So Louis has already done a little modification, so it's now a silver with a silver flange. Let's do a gold with a gold flange. Let's get that out. I really like the fact that Louis now sells accessories because I feel like it gives you a feeling of having a customizable pen at a very low budget, because usually custom pen holders are pretty expensive, but now with just getting 2 holders and a couple accessories, you can really accessorize these. All right, so this is the gold flange. Let's just push it in. Oh yeah, it definitely holds a lot better already. So there's a lot of, it does not slide in all the way entirely, so it still sticks out a little bit. Let's see if autofocus will work. Yeah, is it? You can see it sticks out a little bit, but it holds a lot better. Once you push it in, no, that's not better. Let's see. All right, it's difficult to push it in, so that's a good thing. Let's see, let me push it in completely using this cuticle pusher, which I use for everything. Yeah, that needs a lot more resistance before it pops out. So it's really the top part here that will make sure that it's holding. So let's slide a nib in. Let me grab a nib. I'm using this Hunt 22. Let's put it in there. All right, so let's give it a little bit of a writing test. All right, pushing the nib out will push the flange out. Let's get it adjusted first. I'm not as practiced with putting nibs in a oblique holder, so it might take me longer than regular people that use them all the time. So one of the things that I actually inspected and asked myself why this was a problem for me so much. So one of the things that annoyed me with the first version was that the flange also wiggled. So let's see if the autofocus. So you can see that the flange moves with this circle in the first version. Now this, you can see this is still a little bit of a movable part, but once I push the flange in, let's get it in there. The good thing is you only do this once and then the nib is in there for quite a while, so you don't have to deal with it too long. Now you can see that this part here, here's the old flange. This part, you have a little bit of a gap here, which allows it to wiggle. Now the gap has been removed in the new version. So there's no gap, and that means there's no wiggle room left because it is flush to the holder. So that is a lot better already. There's no wiggling. Let's see if it comes out while I write or not. So I just use some walnut ink here. Let's give it a try. Yeah, that is definitely securely in there. It doesn't move. It doesn't come out. Let's see if it survives cleaning the nib. Yeah, it does. So this definitely holds a lot better in there. So issue is definitely addressed. So this gold is quite nice. Let's actually do a little bit of switching up and do like a lavender gold one. So I hadn't ordered two, so I had just ordered one, so I couldn't show you how this will look if you combine them. Like that. Let's do silver and this. I don't remember what the color was called, Midnight something. So yes, if you have an old one and just ordered one and are annoyed about the flange, what you could do is just order a new one, use the oblique for that, and use the other as a straight holder because it works perfectly fine as a straight holder as well. And people always need a straight holder because everyone will write upright in once in a while. So let's grab these mauve rings. I've heard a lot about these and I'm super excited to try them out. I really like the idea of a ring accessory because who doesn't like some bling? All right, let's do the silver one on this. Let's do it on this. So this is the Eternity ring. There's 3 rings. One of them is Eternity, which is this band with little rhinestones, really pretty. And the other one is, there's a leaf one, which has a little leaf in it, and then there's this, which is the solitaire, which looks like a traditional ring in there, like the classic engagement ring that people show in movies. So I really like the idea of rings. So if you like it, you put a ring on it. Did I just make a pop reference? I'm really not a Beyonce fan. but everybody knows that lyric. All right, so the ring is really securely in there. In case I was wondering if the ring would move around, but obviously if you have an oblique, you want it facing up. So I was wondering how securely that would fit. It holds in there really nicely. It also adds some weight. So someone mentioned that they didn't really enjoy the weight of the Moblique. They felt like it was a little bit too lightweight. I know a lot of people like light pens. I personally never noticed that it wasn't heavy enough, but because that person asked, I'm going to grab some scales and I'll tell you what the weight differences are with and without the rings. Give me a second. All right, so I brought my scales out. So I have scales here with, how many flanges do I have here? Let me check. Yeah, all right. So let's go and weigh these. So these are pretty exact scales, I would say. Regular Mobliques weigh, without the flange, about 6.75 grams, and $6.86 for the silver, and let's see if the gold is also 6.86. Oops. 6.83. So if you want to make it a little bit heavier, go with one of the metallic ones. It seems like those are heavier. Now for the flanges, the regular flange is 1.4 grams. And the metallic flanges are 1.6. So the plated ones are actually a little bit heavier. And now for the rings, 1.2 and 2.5. So if you want to increase the weight of your Moblique, let's take the silver with the silver flange and put the solitaire on there. Your Moblique ends up weighing how I can balance that. These are a little bit hard to weigh. Around 10-11 grams, so well, 10.9, yeah. It always comes out to around 10.9, which is pretty similar to, like, I think, what was the Deuce's weight again? The Deuce was 8.7. So you will be able to make this heavier than the Deuce in the end, and then just add a couple nibs if you are still wanting to give it a bit more heft. So like I think my custom holders are pretty much around that weight. Yeah, so this will give you a good weight of a solid wood holder if you add all of that stuff. So how about we do a little bit of an opinion here in the end? What do I think of the new Moblique? I'm really happy that the flange issue was addressed, so I really think it doesn't wiggle anymore. It's a little bit harder to push in than it has been before, but if that means that it doesn't come out as easily, so this one slides out pretty easily, but I need a lot more pressure than I did before with the old one. The old one just basically popped out just by quickly touching it, it would come out. Obviously you cannot see how much pressure I apply, so it's a little bit hard to show you, but this is definitely a lot safer in there. This wiggles out a little bit faster than the gold one, I have to say though. Yeah, the gold one definitely feels more secure here. Yeah, this holds in better. So it's really like the top part that is like the anchor here. This one seems to not be as... I feel like there might be some variation depending on the flanges that you get, but definitely this has been addressed, and if you apply quite a bit of pressure on the top, really make sure it's flush, the width here will ensure that it is no longer wiggling and it is definitely holding more securely. I still wish that it would go in a bit more, so I wish that the flange would actually be inside of the holder and not flush to the top, but that's just personal preference. I really like the fact that Lewis has added the option to buy additional flanges and additional and these rings. I like the idea because I feel like for a lot of people, a custom pen seems too expensive. This will definitely increase the price if you buy the rings and an additional flange, but it will give you a custom experience without breaking the bank. So I really like that idea. It is still a plastic holder though, so I still believe that it will not replace the custom holder, but it definitely adds a little bit of flair and a little bit of fun to commercial holder experiences.